Do you have human rights during a pandemic? What exactly is the government allowed to do or not do in times like this? That's the subject of today's episode. Keep watching this video to find out the answer. Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Isabel here. Hope you are continuing to stay safe and healthy during this period. Many of you and my human rights advocates friends have asked me lately, what do I think about that? What do I think about the current situation with human rights in the world? Is it true that our rights are being taken away? I wanted to take this opportunity and go over some facts and share a bit of my knowledge in the field to bring out some light and understanding of the whole situation. And at the same time, provide you with a simple test that you can use to check whether some rights have been violated. So let's dig into. According to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, every human being is entitled to 30 universal human rights. We will not go over each of these rights in this episode, but I want to tackle some points in regards to them and discuss whether some rights have been violated or not, and what are the measures to keep in place to make sure we protect them. For example, Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights proclaims the right to life and reads, "Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person." By the way, I'm using this nice booklet, which at the back has the full copy of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I'm going to share a link in the description where you can download your free copy. So in regards to the right to life, many advocate that having a right to life means the government cannot restrict that. I have the right to go out of the house and contract a disease because no matter what happens, I can live or I can die. I have the right to my own body and my own health. Well, that in part, it's true. You do have a right to life. You do have the right to take decisions related to your body. However, a very important thing about human rights is that they don't necessarily mean you have these rights. Human rights are based on the principle of respect for the individual. Human rights teaches you that not only you have rights, but also others have rights too. What this means is that my rights ends where the rights of others begin. So, for example, in today's scenario, almost all governments around the world have imposed stay-at-home orders for the protection of its citizens. And although you, as an individual, have the right to life, which includes the right to decide whether you are taking the risk to expose yourself and maybe lose your life, for the betterment of the community, for the protection of the society as a whole, the government is entitled to limit your own right. The restrictions have an impact on other categories of human rights as well. For example, the human rights of persons with disabilities which face obstacles in accessing basic healthcare and other necessary services and supplies. Also, in terms of the freedom of move, Article 13 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, migrants, asylum seekers, and refugees are also at a disadvantage during this pandemic. But the problem appears when the governments exceed their powers and go beyond that. Restrictions during a pandemic are meant to be temporary. That is, they should be limited in duration. At the same time, when they are imposed or extended, they need to be objective, meaning seeking the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and take into consideration all facts, sharing with the public transparently the reasons behind them, behind this restriction. To give an example here, implementation of new surveillance programs to collect people's data, such as their exact location, their personal information, and others, needs to be based on an objective, scientifically proven, and necessary method meant to limit the spread of the disease. At the same time, the use of it must be administered in an open and transparent manner so that we ensure all the protections are put in place. Another aspect is that violation of rights needs to be discussed on a case-by-case basis. What I mean by that is that the exact circumstances can determine whether your rights have been violated or not. Nevertheless, there are some points you can check and a simple test to see whether the government is infringing on people's rights under the disguise of this crisis. And that is the restriction adopted based on a law? Which means, does it have a legal basis? Is the restriction necessary to serve a legitimate purpose? Like here, during a pandemic, one legitimate purpose would be to protect the lives and health of all. Finally, you need to check whether that restriction is proportionate to the threat. So let's say, for example, in a bird flu outbreak that affects only birds. Forbidding people to get out of the house would be a disproportionate restriction. That's a simple test that you can use. Make sense? Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love if you can give me a thumbs up on this video and if you subscribe to my channel, because I create videos every Tuesday with human rights and diplomacy tips. So if you're passionate about this subject, stay tuned to my channel.